upgrading the Ashiok Sculptor of Fears Planeswalker deck. Hey everyone, it's VM Campos, Magic Fan. Welcome back to another deck tech video. This one is upgrading the Ashiok Sculptor of Fears Planeswalker deck. Now, this is the free version of the video. You can head on over to my Patreon, patreon.com/vmcampos, to get the full version of the video. But wait a minute, you can still enjoy this free version because it'll tell you all that you need to know. But if you go over to the Patreon and for $1, you'll unlock the sideboard and a lot of other goodies to make the deck even better. But no worries, we can still make a great deck focused on Ashiok in this particular video. So watch and also pay attention for a giveaway where you can win this deck. The code for this deck can be yours if you go to a specific place in my video. Be on the lookout for it. Alright, so the purpose of this video is that it's for beginning to intermediate players that have picked up a Planeswalker deck and wish to upgrade it. I am going to focus on Theros Beyond Death only cards, because when you're first starting off in Magic, you don't have the full range of all the cards that exist. You can't really go out of your way to get them all, so we're going to focus on Theros Beyond Death only cards. Also, we're going to focus on common and uncommon cards in this build. This will be then a budget build. You'll be able to build this deck however you want, of course, but here's one possible way to build it with commons and uncommons from Theros Beyond Death. So, we're going to keep the Ashiok Sculptor of Fears Planeswalker as is, of course. It comes with the deck. It's a pretty cool Planeswalker. It's a 4 loyalty for 6 mana. The +2 ability lets you draw a card, and then each opponent mills a card. You as well. So this deck has a strong Graveyard Matters theme, so milling yourself will be no big of a deal. Then we've got the -5, put target creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control, so you can steal your opponent's creatures. That's really, really fun. And then the -11, you gain control of all of your opponent's creatures. So that's the best thing about this card. We're going to keep it as is, and then we're going to see what else we can do to upgrade it. So the first change that I'm going to do is change up the mana base a little bit. A lot of the times these Planeswalker decks come with 25 lands, so we're going to remove 1 to get 24 lands. Now we've got, in the swamps, we've got 12 swamps, so we will keep these as is, no problem. But then with the islands, we've only got 11 islands to start off with, which is a little weird. So I want to bring it up to 12 islands as well. And the way I'm going to do that is with these unknown shores. We get 2 of them in the deck, but I don't really need them to filter my colors, so I'm going to take out 1 of them to instead put in an island. So that's how I'm going to change the mana base first of all. So I'm going to take out 1 of the unknown shores, and instead I'm going to replace it with a card that I do want more of, Sleep of the Dead. So this is a single casting cost sorcery that incapacitates your opponent's creature, and then you can pay escape cost to do it again over and over. So I want a full play set of those, so I'm going to remove 1 of the unknown shores. The deck comes with 2 Mire's Grasps. I'm going to keep both of these. This is an enchantment for 2 mana. You enchant a creature, obviously your opponent's, and you're going to -3/-3 it, as long as the enchantment is on the field. I'm going to keep both of them into the deck because you'll be able to either kill one of their creatures or really weaken a strong one, so keeping them both. Next, in our removal suite, I'm going to keep the Final Death. This is a 5 casting cost instant that lets you exile target creature. This is going to be very good because there's a lot of graveyard shenanigans in the world of Theros Beyond Death. Things just keep coming back over and over. We want to have them a Final Death. So I'm going to keep both of these in the deck. It's instant removal, so I like that. You might think about putting more of these in the deck if you can get them, and they're common, so that's not so hard to get, but definitely keeping the Final Death. The deck comes with 4 card drawing spells. I'm going to remove them both, one in blue, one in black. They're kind of okay, but what I'm going to do is instead replace them with a full playset of 4 Omen of the Sea. I love this card. It's 2 mana, it's a single color, 1 and a blue. It's a flash enchantment. When it comes into the battlefield, it lets you scry 2 and then draw a card. So you'll get to see the future for 2 cards and then draw one of those cards that was coming. Very nice. And if 2 dud cards were coming, you can totally just put them away. Then as the enchantment stays on the battlefield, you'll be able to crack it. You'll be able to pay 2 and a blue to then sacrifice this enchantment and be able to scry to see the future for 2 more cards. Very nice. I'm going to put a full playset of 4 of these by removing the other card draw spells. Alright everyone, let's pause here to talk about the contest. You'll be able to win this Planeswalker deck. That is the arena code for this deck. All you have to do is go to my website. Go to vmcampos.com/contact and send me an email. Tell me that you watched this video, and then tell me about the very first bomb rare card that you wanted to get when you first got into Magic. So tell me, what was like the big card that you really wanted for your decks when you first got into Magic? What was the one you were really looking for? What was the one that set your heart aflutter? Tell me all about it. Send me that email on my website, and you'll be entered to win the code for this particular deck. So go ahead and do that, and you'll be entered to win. Now back to the show. Next up, let's talk about creatures. We get 1 copy of this really cool card, Timuret, Chosen from Death. We get it in the special constellation border, so I like that. This is a double black and 2-star creature. It's a demigod. Now, the way you'll make its power, the way you'll make its toughness a little bit higher is by how much black mana you've got devotion to. So the more of that you've got on the battlefield, the stronger this gets. Then you can pay 2 mana to exile up to 2 target cards from any graveyard, and you'll gain life for those creatures exiled this way. Do this to your opponent's deck to really weaken their graveyard, and you'll be chosen by death by Timuret himself. So another card I'm going to leave as is the Devourer of Memory. This is 2 mana, 1 blue, 1 black. You get a 2/1. Now, what's cool about this card is that it becomes unblockable and gets stronger whenever you get milled, whenever any cards go to the graveyard. Now, this little creature itself can enable that. By paying 1 blue and black, you'll put the top card of your library into your graveyard. So this helps your escape cards, but then it also helps this creature because it'll get stronger and stronger. It'll become a 3/2, a 4/3, etc. the more you mill yourself, and then it becomes unblockable. So I really like that, the Devourer of Memory, keeping both. The deck comes with a few of these cards that I don't want, so I'm going to remove the Towering Wave Mystic. I'm not really in love with that card because instead I'm going to replace it with a bird. I'm going to put a bird on it. I'm going to get the Vexing Gull. This is a 2/2 flyer for 3 mana, but it's got flash. So flash it in on your opponent's turn, and it's going to be ready to steal their fish on your turn. So I'm going to take out those other cards and instead put this one. Now, I want the full play set of this particular card, so I'm also going to take out 2 more cards that I don't really love, so I can have the full 4 play set, and those are going to be the Elite Instructors. That card's fine, but instead I want 4 of these, because more air attack, the more power that I've got in the air to pressure my opponent, the better, so this little gull gets in my squad. Our final Towering Wave Mystic will go away so that instead I have a full playset of Underworld Charger. The deck came with 3 of them, but I want all 4 of them because this is a creature that is a 3/3 for 3, which is very nice. But then it comes back from the grave. It has an Escape Clause, 5 mana plus 3 other cards. It keeps coming back. But wait a minute, it comes back with 2 + 1 + 1, so it comes back as a 5/5. So the deck already has some cool graveyard shenanigans, so I want a full playset of this Charger so that I can fully take advantage of that. Next up, we've got Farika's Spawn. This is a 4 casting cost Gorgon. It's a 3/4. When it escapes, it comes back as a 5/6. You have to pay 6 mana and exile 3 other cards. So I'm keeping this in the deck. I'm actually adding 1 more of this card, as we will see in just a moment. One of the rares of the deck is the Gravebreaker Lamia. This is a pretty cool card. For 5 mana, you get a 4/4 with lifelink, so you're going to gain lots of life from this little snake Lamia. Now, when it enters the battlefield, you may search for any card. Very nice, a tutor. But wait, you put it into your graveyard. That's interesting. So you get to go search for any card, put it into your graveyard. So all of these escape creatures get put into the graveyard really nicely. And then the casting costs of creatures in the graveyard gets reduced by 1. So you're able to bring back your Sleep of the Dead or your other escaped creatures very easily. So I like this card. So I mentioned I wanted to have 3 copies of Farika's Spawn, and the way I'm going to do that is to remove 1 copy of Swimmer in Nightmares, so that'll give me all 3 of that Gorgon, so I like that. I'm going to keep 2 of the Swimmer in Nightmares. There's a 3 casting cost Nightmare Merfolk, that's a 1/4, and it'll get a +3/+0 as long as you have 10 or more cards in a graveyard, your graveyard or your opponent. So this could be a 4/4. And then what we also get here is that it's unblockable if you've got your Planeswalker, your Ashiok Planeswalker, so that's cool, but I'm only going to keep 2 of them, the Swimmer in Nightmares. The deck comes with 4 copies of the Mindrack Harpy. This is a 4 casting cost 3/2 with flying, and it's an enchantment creature. At the beginning of combat on your turn, each player puts the top 3 cards of their library into their graveyard. So there's more graveyard-enabling shenanigans with this Harpy, plus a flyer so you can do some cool things, such as pump up your unblockable creature, your Swimmer in Nightmares. So I'm going to keep all 4 copies of this Harpy in the deck. I like it. You need more flyers, and you can enable more escape stuff, so it stays. The last card I'm going to keep in the deck is Ashiok's Forerunner. We have 2 of them. This is a rare card. This is one of the tutors that often comes with a Planeswalker deck. It lets you go find your Planeswalker. You also get a creature at 3/3 with flash, so cast it on your opponent's turn, and then you'll have your Ashiok ready to cast when it comes back on your turn. So I'm keeping both of them. So there you go, that was my upgrade to the Ashiok Sculptor of Fears Planeswalker deck. Remember to head on over to my Patreon to unlock the sideboard and the big money upgrades plus more strategy. You can get to that for $1. You'll get access to that plus every other Planeswalker deck that I've done. For only $1. If you go up to the $2 range, you will actually get access to more stuff. For the $2, you will get a card mailed to you in thanks. So think about doing that, going to patreon.com/VMCampos. Don't forget to enter the contest. This has been VM Campos, and I will see you in the underworld.